Ahoy there, and welcome back to DohMance Dawn for our last episode before our time skip. I'm Luke, he, him, sometimes they, them, and I'm joined on this long endeavor by the wonderful, beautiful, effervescent, and not going to be able to come up with a third thing for herself, Janine.
Hello, my name is Janine Juliet. My pronouns are she, they, and I don't have a third thing to say.
I called it.
I mean, I say that about myself every single time. It's like you're predicting the past at this point.
I mean, I'm commenting on the bit in a meta way. It would be like if I called out that we also have a new, excellent, audacious editor, Andie, who is joining us. You can enter
Oh,
yourself
me?
saying hi here, Andie.
Oh shit. Hi everyone.
I I have no idea what you said,
Forget it.
and I probably won't have listened to this until after you got it edited, and then it'll be too late. So, welcome aboard, Andie. Andie had been our guest a few episodes back, and now she is here to kick some tail and to cut down on my bad jokes. This is DohMance Dawn, the only podcast covering One Piece and The Simpsons. If you find another podcast doing the same thing, cool.
I would fight them.
I mean, or we do a crossover,
Ooh, that would be nice.
and then we poison them.
Ooh,
A
that would be
poison podcast.
yes.
But yes, this is our 85th episode. At this point, we are kind of exiting the golden era of One Piece in the same way that The Simpsons had a golden era, and that it's like we've covered over a decade of both of these shows, and we're kind of getting to the point where people are like, it's not necessarily as good from this point on, which is more due to Toei's animation scheduling as opposed to the quality of the show. After this episode, we are going to do a SBS episode that's going to come out in 2 more weeks where we're going to be answering questions. And then 2 more weeks after that, we will be starting post time skip with a very special guest episode. So, are you ready to jump into this thing, Janine?
Hang on. Okay, yes.
These episodes initially ran between August 21st and September 25th of the year 2011. I would have been fully back home by this point and unemployed.
I think this was the summer that I had come to Austin before moving to Austin and stayed inside of a small casita in someone's backyard and then went out and basically scouted the place
Mhm.
for moving in.
So, did you like stay in Austin since then? Like, once you finally did get a place, or do we need to hold on to future segments for the Janine history?
I mean, we were just there for like a solid like couple of weeks, just staying there for a little bit. And then, like, we still had a place in San Antonio. We still had all of our stuff down there. We just kind of like came up here so we could be able to get a good idea of like neighborhoods and stuff, how expensive things were, and different places we could get a job. The boring things.
Yeah, the fun logistics. I got distracted because I couldn't figure out how to spell the word squawk for a moment.
They don't teach it in schools. It's not something a Jedi would teach you.
We can't teach you how to spell the word squawk anymore because of woke. But yeah, if you haven't listened to this podcast before and you aren't the editor, what a weird point to jump onto the show. The only Simpsons episode we are covering this week is The Falcon and the Doughman, where Wayne, a new security guard at the power plant, starts off as being standoffish to Homer until Homer finally convinces him to go to the bar. There, Snake tries to hold everyone up, and Wayne stops him using training that he had. The story about this ends up on the news, and it turns out that Wayne is traumatized because he used to be a secret agent and had to stop a bunch of people. And during a flashback, he attacks Mr. Burns, gets fired, and then moves in with the Simpsons. When the story reaches a Ukrainian crime lord, He comes looking for Wayne, who killed his wife, so they kidnap Homer. Wayne comes after Homer and saves him, and then he's ready to leave until Marge suggests that he works at the DMV, where nobody would pay attention to him. It's a weird one, if nothing else, than we get a bunch of weird characters that they just show Wayne beating up, but also it feels so kind of like a very played out story that really doesn't have much new to add.
Everything that is there, though, I feel is running pretty smoothly for what I was fearing to happen, starting a new season of The Simpsons.
Mhm.
I think that there is a couple of moments out there that did stand out that made me laugh. Nothing that like really commits to memory too much.
I mean, now we can use Chucky
That's true.
and Kobe, RIP.
There were a surprisingly large amount of horror villains here for something that wasn't a treehouse of horror, and also how it ends. The musical,
Oh, the North Korean theme.
yeah, the North Korean
Mhm.
theme musical for Kim Jong Il, and
Yeah, because we find out that when Wayne was a government agent, he got captured by the North Korean government and had to write a biopic musical about Kim Jong il. Yeah, it's wild. Like, that is. I'm just thinking about that again now.
the extended joke of singing the song, spelling out Kim Jong Il's name is just so like they didn't need to go through the entire thing or as much of it as they did.
Mhm.
The fact that they did though, the fact that they committed to it, like, yeah, this is kind of like a shocking thing that is better like left if it's short. But what if we do like the Family Guy thing and just kind of run it to the ground and just go the full go full hog?
I mean, we love to go full hog. I appreciate a commitment to the bit, even if it doesn't really work off in the end. It's like, at least we tried to do it. It's like if I said, "All right, drop some Poke Rap style music behind," and then I'll go through all the new characters unlocked, and I'll try and make it as much of a Poke Rap as I can without any preparation. Kobe Bryant, Chucky Tom Colicchio, disaster victim, Penguin Pinhead, Syndex employee, Wayne Slater, unnamed Ukrainian mobster, Victor's wife, Wayne Slater's boss, Gogo Yabari, Master Chef, Will Wickham, Bear Barney, Horse Larry, Blob Homer, Cat Laney, Boxcaro, Dove Sam Strongman, Squeak and Squawk, Baseball Fury, Silver Safety Hat Coach Ben, Silver Safety Hat Coach Monkey, Terminator Victor's henchman, Autotune Disaster Victim, Kim Jong il actor. And that's all the new characters unlocked. Like that, I don't think it was good, unless there was like a really good beat put under that. But I committed to it, Janine.
Yeah, there was something in me that said, "Janine, stop this. You have the power. You can keep him from completing the entire list." And then I also thought to myself, "No. Let's see how far he goes."
I went all the way. Because, it's fun to commit to the bit, said Luke on the 85th episode of a podcast.
Yeah, 85 episodes of this podcast is kind of like seriously committing to a bit.
It's just like getting married. It's the biggest bit that you can commit to, and so many people don't want to commit to that bit anymore. And that's why I'm partnering with the Roman Catholic Church to bring divorce back to the Roman Catholic Church. That's right. This Christmas, we want you to get divorced if you're not feeling it, and the Pope's just going to forgive you.
Don't miss out.
uh, yeah, it's sort of the episode follows such a formulaic structure. There's really one really solid bit, one weird wall of cameos that will help us as we continue on this podcast, and then otherwise, I think it's like, yeah, we got through another Keither, we got through another Kiefer Sutherland showcase. I'd like to go to the Kiefer Sutherland showcase. How do you feel about the Kiefer Sutherland showcase?
I tried to think of something I could be able to do with it. I'm sorry. I really can't.
You have nothing to contribute to my bit about the Kiefer Sutherland showcase.
There's barely anything to yes and, dog. We're holding on to like scrapped ends of a joke that just ran away from us too soon.
When I grew up in the tough streets, Janine, of middle-class suburban America, we had to do with what we could.
What could we do with these episodes of One Piece that we watch?
Well, none of these were the Kiefer Sutherland showcase. These are episodes 511 through 516 of One Piece. These titles include An Unexpected Return, Luffy to Marineford,
Delivered to the crew. The big news comes through.
The Pirates Move Out, The Earth-Shattering New World,
Live through hell. Sanji's fight with men at stake.
I'll get stronger and stronger, Zoro's vow to his captain.
Luffy's training begins. See you 2 years later at the Promised Place.
So, if you forgot what happened, the Straw Hat crew got split up by Kuma. Luffy tried to go rescue his brother, failed. His brother got freaking executed, got a punch through the stomach, along with his captain, and Luffy's been traumatized. But now realizing that he needs to get stronger to protect his crew, Luffy, along with Jinbei, the fishman, and Rayleigh, a former assistant of the last king of the pirates, appear at Marineford on a stolen marine ship where they knock out all the defenses. That way, Luffy can ring the bell 16 times before he leaves a bouquet. And then as they leave, Luffy stops for a bunch of news photos. And the ringing of the bell is part of a tradition that means a lot of different things. So there's a lot of like conspiracies for what people think that this means. There's people who think that it's Luffy marking the end of an era, or 16 tons, or what do you think the 16 rings mean, Janine?
It is one for every person whose Luffy can remember their name. He can only remember 16 names.
You know, that's kind of fair. You could also guess that it's how old Luffy thinks that he is, forgetting that he's 17.
Well, he doesn't remember the first year.
Yeah, I mean, if you can only remember what you are, then once you get Alzheimer's, you just start aging backwards and forwards and all over again. So the world starts to go wild as a result of this, with the five elders becoming worried about their need for new warlords of the sea since they lost Jinbei, and Gecko Moria has been kicked out, as well as the rise of the Will of D. Kong asks Fleet Admiral Sengoku, who is stepping down, to stay on. That way he can train new pirates, and Sengoku wants Aokiji as his replacement. Kong is a weird looking dude.
Yeah.
But that's One Piece for you. So Kobe wakes up in the hospital, finding out that he has hockey and he has to get training from Garp so Garp can say,
"'Cause I knew a lot more about hockey."
Getting a lot more life out of that one than I thought you would.
Yeah, no, like hockey is their power-up system here, Janine. Smoker, meanwhile, requests a reassignment to the New World branch of the Marines. That way he can go after Luffy and the other Straw Hats. Eustace Kid decides that he wants to take Luffy down after hearing the news. And then we see him kill another pirate crew via crucifixion. And we find out that the first half of the Grand Line was called Paradise because of how much worse this second half is. Capone Beige expects to see Luffy burn out before he gets too far, and then his ship gets shot up into the sky.
That happens.
It does. It's nice that we're kind of getting another chance to put the seven warlords of the sea over again and being like, yeah, they're all going to go on their own adventures. On Food Volton, Basil Hawkins faces Brownbeard, who he saw attacking one of Whitebeard's old territories and just destroys the fuck out of him. Urouge heads towards an island of infinite lightning, and he's kind of unafraid of the dangers and ignores the warnings. And we finally get a reunion between Buggy and his old crew. They officially adopt the prisoners that they have. Alvida is impressed with Buggy, even before he reveals that he has Captain John's armband that will lead them to a legendary treasure. And then he hears the news about Luffy. Breaking back into Marineford, his ego gets deflated until he gets a message from the world government. Janine, what do you think that message from the world government is about?
It is a bill for all of the destruction that he's caused.
Interesting. Is that your serious guess?
No, it's kind of like the first thing that came to my head. I really have no clue, so I'm just gonna I don't know, keep with that one.
Fair. I also forgot that technically the world government is probably firing Blackbeard for, abusing his position as one of the warlords to break into prison and lead a legendary prison escape. On Sabaody, the Thousand Sunny is waiting, protected by Duval and the Rosy Life Riders, for the Straw Hats to return in what is supposed to just be 3 days. But that's when the original Kuma appears and Shaki approaches him to talk. What do you think they're going to talk about, Janine?
I think it is just kind of be maybe an explanation as to what he did with the fucking straw hats because it wasn't destroy them like he was supposed to.
Mhm.
So like what would he why would he have like gone up against the world government, you know?
Yeah. In a weird, you'll probably forget about this when we get to it. The recent month or two of One Piece, the manga has just been about, hey, Shaki's so hot, we're just going to talk about all these pirates being horny and doing dumb things to try and oppress her. Which, fair.
Nice.
Hmm.
Yes.
In Alabasta, when Vivi gets the news, she tries to decode the message on Luffy's arm, 3D2Y. And meanwhile, Crocodile and Daz Bones land on another island and they decide to head for the New World together. I'm happy those guys are still hanging out.
I think they have a situationship going on that neither of them could be able to keep themselves away from.
What does situationship mean again?
Oh, it means basically they're kind of like fucking on the side without any feelings attached to it. They're just
Oh, like less emotional attachment than like a hookup buddy in some ways.
kind of, but it's kind of like, whatever the situation is, like it just kind of fell into pieces there, but you're not like talking about it. You're not creating like something out of it. And it is ripe to get messy. Some people do catch feelings in it or I don't know. It's weird,
Hey,
but that's the nature of it.
sand wears down blades.
I like the concept of it. I'm going to try to think of a better ship name though.
I mean, that was also for Andie because Crocodile turns into sand and Daw's bones, his body turns into blades. More papers spread across the world, and Dadan and her bandits mourn Ace at the boys' old treehouse, which did legitimately make me sad. Like, pouring out for Ace. And then Boa sends her crew to pick up Luffy, who hopes that his crew got the message, which it turns out that they all did. Trafalgar Law, meanwhile, decides to hold up and wait and slow things down before going further into the New World. Drake's crew is attacked and then finds a domed city that belongs to Kaido, one of the four emperors, and he turns into a dinosaur to attack it, trying to get Kaido's attention. I love Diaz Drake. He just turns into a dinosaur. He wears a big hat. Why doesn't the dinosaur wear a big hat all the time? That's what the people want to know.
He literally opens the door, gets on the floor, everybody do the dinosaur.
He does. Except that's not about it's not about nuclear fallout this time.
This time.
Yeah, I mean the song is about dying in the fucking nuclear apocalypse, Janine.
So you're telling me
Was
that
not
it's
was.
perfectly capable of having that in a Fallout game.
I mean, there is a giant dinosaur in New Vegas, the giant dinosaur statue, which has also been shown in Fallout Season Two's trailer.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I am so glad we're getting weird, high budget, nerd live action adaptations of things that are good. Before the show, Janine and I were talking about Twisted Metal and how I am a fan of that because they're actually running cars into things and they're like shooting in actual lots. And sure, they moved to Canada for season two, which means that they had to replace Nev Campbell, but that led to a hilarious joke. And like even One Piece is, hey, we're just going to put a bunch of money into making actual sets and like things that exist, and it looks great. And Mary died.
Yeah. That's one thing that show got right.
So Scratchman Apu runs from a horde of giant boar with his crew, and then as they get to the edge of the cliff, they just find themselves running on air. On another island, Blackbeard and his crew are stranded without their raft thanks to San Juan Wolf because he's too big for it. But in the meantime, they capture Jewelry Bonnie, who is rejecting his advances, and then they have to abandon her when Akainu comes after them, meaning that Jewelry Bonnie is now in Akainu's clutches. On Marie Joie, Doflamingo reports that Gecko Moria disappeared without him, and Doflamingo hints that the five elders can't really do anything about him, even if he lost or gave up his warlord title. He just doesn't give a shit. What do you think Doflamingo's secret is?
I could not hazard a guess.
Fair enough. Chopper, who had left the Torino Kingdom, aka Birdie Island, has to return after seeing Luffy's message. So he returns his Chopper mask, but no one believes that he is a different person at all. And then they introduce him to the hidden library that has all sorts of information on the plants of the island. And Chopper's kind of pretty racist about, like, oh, I didn't think you were capable of reading or building things because you look like savages. And it's like, whoa, Chopper, where the fuck did you learn that, little dude?
I mean, they certainly don't help their case.
No, it's a bit of a I was drawn this way situation.
I guess so.
Nami apologizes for what she did to get arrested after seeing the news, and then she works it out so that she can stay on Weather Island studying the weather with Haradas in the meantime. Frankie climbs out of the massive explosion that he did with his face destroyed like he's Sideshow fucking Bob. And the Marines go looking for him as he gets set up in Vegapunk's old base, and he starts wearing a tiger skin to keep warm, but then that catches on fire, and then he just runs out screaming, scaring off the Marines. And I love that Frankie is everything that is haunted on the island of Baltimore. Also, Mike's last cover, excellent. I I just really like that one.
Hell yeah.
Sai, back on Kamabaka Kingdom, Sanji is still being awful, though he likes the food that the people are creating. He learns theories about dietary effects and discovers that there are 99 recipes, each guarded by a master of martial arts. And he finds out that if he wants those recipes to help his crew, he is going to have to fight the 99 women who have those as they try and force fem him. They should have force femmed Sanji.
I'm still on board with that. I think that there is a woman in him yet.
There's a weird bunch of Fem Sanji, Fem Zoro shippers, and it's like, you know what? Great.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Brooke, who was kidnapped, is locked up and put into a freak show, and he realizes he needs to train more, and so he plays Bone to Be Wild on a guitar, which enchants the people listening to him. Welcome to Brooke's new thing, Janine.
Good. I'm glad. I mean, listen, it's good to have another swordsman, but also I really kind of want more of being a musician out of the musician.
That's fair. Robin reflects on her past and then heads off to go with the Revolutionary Army. Goodbye, weirdly animated differently Robin segments where she just has massive cleavage for no real reason. And Usopp realizes he needs to pick up the slack so he can get stronger, and he asks Heracles to train him about pop greens. Like, we are going to get some interesting turns for a lot of the characters coming up, so we'll kind of give you a looks preview, partially because Sungwon Cho had done a thing with his mom where he showed her the before and after time skip versions of the Straw Hats and had them rank them, and it's pretty interesting. It's a delightful video. So Zoro ends up begging Mihawk for training after he defeated the first batch of Humandrills. That way he can get stronger so he can kill Mihawk, and Mihawk's like, sounds great. Zoro then explains the meaning of Luffy's arm, the 3D2Y, where they are initially going to meet up in 3 days, but instead they're going to meet up in 2 years. That way they can all be stronger. And that's when a bunch of Humandrills who learned fighting from Mihawk show up to fight Zoro next. Back on Amazon Lily, Jinbei departs from Luffy and the Amazons, telling Luffy to meet him in 2 years on Fishman Island. And then Rayleigh takes Luffy to Rusakaina, a abandoned and dangerous island where they will be alone for the next 2 years with 500 deadly animals. He gives Luffy a rundown on hockey, and I'll explain it again more because...
Cause I knew a lot more about hockey.
Of course.
There are 3 main types. There's observation, which is feeling others, sensing others, and sometimes even seeing the future, like Enel's Manthara. The second type is armament, which uses invisible forces to protect and even bypass devil powers. It can be used offensively and defensively. And then the third type is Conqueror's Hockey, which uses the will of the user to knock others out. Rayleigh's plan is to teach all 3 types to Luffy, and so they start training. And that is the last we will see from them officially, not counting the movies and stuff that take place in between until the other side of the time skip. So, Janine,
Yes,
you excited?
I am. I've been feeling better ever since we got out of the flashback arc. I feel like we are moving towards things, even though we are only seeing like a good amount of flashbacks in this one. They're the hits.
Mhm.
They're the moments that like we're seeing everybody reflect on when they met Luffy, and hey, it's a good compilation.
It is.
As far as clip shows go, I'm having fun.
Yeah, I watched all of these over a month and a half ago, so I kind of forgot about that. One Piece.
One Piece.
Yeah, I have to start watching One Piece again. Oh, God.
I
So we have 6 characters to match. Up first, we have Kong. Kong Skull Island. All right, so let us start with our listener suggestions. In the Discord, King Atticus and that one welder guy suggested Marvin Monroe, who we can't use because we used Marvin Monroe way back in episode 15. Just they forgot about that. I also did initially when I was posting about it, because do you have any idea of who we used?
don't. It feels like it was probably pretty early.
Yeah. It was the pirate who gets killed by Crocodile.
Nice.
Yeah, to just kind of put him over. His name was Poo Poo, and you and Rodrigo apparently fought for him. So that is why we can't use him. Chris, our fill-in cover artist, suggested the old Donkey Kong, and Reverse Eye Patch suggested Jay Sherman, the critic. My Rodrigo pick was Victor, the Ukrainian crime lord. My throwback was Cyrus Simpson, Abraham Simpson's long and often forgotten brother, who we only saw that one Christmas special. And then Colonel Clink, just something about the forehead read Colonel Clink to me. Who do you have, J-Town?
I have, for my Rodrigo style, the Sendex employee. And you're going to have to remind me if we used him or not. But my next pick is President Arnold Schwarzenegger from the Simpsons movie.
I was elected to read, not to lead. Arnold. No, we have not.
Awesome.
So I kind of want to push for Cyrus here, just because something about the hair reminds me, and that puts him on a sort of equal placement with Garp.
Okay, I could see that.
All right, I got you on board.
Yep.
Hell yeah. Up next, we have Fish Bonin. Oh yeah, Fish Bonin. The weird man who kind of looks like a human onigiri.
Yeah.
Like with the lab coat, it's the rice and then his everything else. And he's just chewing on a fish bone like he's a cartoon cat. Who do you have for this human onigiri, Janine?
My Rodrigo style was the Penguin. Yeah.
The fine feathered fin.
Yes, mostly kind of because of the connection of the Penguin from the People's Joker, who can be able to eat a fish and pull the bones out, all cartoon style.
Are you not able to do that?
And my throwback is Johnny Carson.
I feel like we might have used Johnny Carson. No, we have not used Johnny Carson yet. My Rodrigo style was Tom Colicchio from chef show, I think that Fishbone can also turn into a kitchen that feels pain. My throwback was that Fishman priest from Forgotten Realms or whatever it is that Marge played. And then I also had Fishbone Walker, a baseball player, because his name has Fishbone in it. I'm good to go with Penguin.
Yeah, penguin.
Hell yeah. We then have Haritsu Kendio. His name translates into crucifixion, and his translated name is Victimothy Crucifixio, which is wonderful.
That goes hard.
He's my favorite Hollywood twink right now, Victimothy Crucifixio. Hollywood tweaks on the Hollywood scene. My Rodrigo was Pinhead. My throwback was Saint Sebastian, and my other pick was Lubchenko. Because you know what? I think that Vic Timothy Crucifixio is also a telephony major. Who do you have?
My Rodrigo style was Tom Colicchio,
Mhm.
and my throwback was Drew Carey.
Because you want to see Drew Carey crucified?
Who doesn't?
Drew Carey don't need this.
Honestly, it was kind of the like catchphrase thing that they had for when he was on ABC, like, come see Drew Carey or we'll crucify him. And like I always kept on not tuning in because I just wanted to see him get crucified already. It's like why would you like promise to do that and then just like hope that people got him enough ratings and then just like not do that?
Or like, wouldn't you? Well, no, I think if you actually did crucify him for the ratings, that would be a bit of like killing the goose that lays the golden egg.
Unless the eggs are no longer golden, unless we're like deep into the final season of the Drew Carey show where Drew has like a nephew now.
Mm-hmm. Little Sponderblock. Little Sponderblock Carey who loves to skateboard and also just eats fish and then pulls their bones out of his mouth.
Crucify that goose. Goosify. Is that anything?
I mean, do we want to crucify Drew Carey here?
I have been looking to nail Drew Carey for a long time.
As
A person who's very turned on by middle-aged women.
oh, okay. Yeah, no, let's get rid of Drew Carey once and for all, Janine.
Hell yeah.
All right. We then have Casa. She's a little old lady who rides out into storms and isn't afraid. Her name translates as umbrella. Who do you have for Casa, Janine?
Well, my Rodrigo style was the auto-tuned disaster victim.
Mm-hmm.
For those that don't know this, that this episode had a reference to the trend that was going on about this time, where people would songify clips from the news.
Mm-hmm.
You've probably seen one now that like I've mentioned this much, but just to let you know that happened on The Simpsons in season 23, episode 1, just for your own reference. Also, my throwback was Isabel Sanford.
Isabel Sanford being okay, yeah, from Sanford and Son, and she appears in the TV museum.
Yep.
My Rodrigo pick was Chucky, though we'll need to save our murderous doll for later. My throwback was the Tunnel of Love Witch, who just kind of gets stuck. And then Goody Marge, the witch Marge Simpson. I kind of want to push for Tunnel of Love Witch. I feel like Tunnel of Love Witch doesn't get enough love.
Sure. Let's show Tunnel of Love Witch some love.
All right. And then we have Scotch. Scotch is going to get to recur. My Rodrigo pick was Wayne. My throwback was the crossword bartender. And then also I just got a big Scotchtoberfest Willy vibe off of Scotch. And also it came up when I looked up Scotch.
I can see that.
That's my secret, Janine. Sometimes I just look up the word and be like, hey, is there anything there? Sometimes there is. Who do you have, J-Town?
Well, my Rodrigo style was the Terminator, guy with the gun hand. And my throwback was Tito Puente.
They robbed the school of me. I am still kind of haunted by. Oh, we used Tito Puente.
Okay, then I'm fine with Wayne.
Cool. Yeah, our Tito Puente was Tom, Frankie's teacher.
Ah, that's a good place for him.
Mm-hmm. For so many years, I just listened to the second or like third Simpsons soundtrack where they had the Burns Revenge song, and I always thought that the singer in that was Tito Puente, and it's like, no, it's not. Tito Puente is an instrumental musician. Oye, como va? And then last, we have Gorilla, who is a Marine who kind of looks like a gorilla. Who do you have for Gorilla, Janine?
My Rodrigo style is the strongman.
Hell yeah, mustachioed strongman.
Yeah. And my throwback is Gary Busey.
The Buse is loose,
He can be.
except that we used Gary Busey for Sharingaroo.
Busey, he gets around. That's the thing.
Busey denied.
Yeah.
My Rodrigo was also mustachioed strongman. My throwback was Gorilla Grandpa when everyone gets turned into their Halloween costume and Grandpa turns into a gorilla. And then I also put on old Donkey Kong. He still got it. I feel like we gotta go with a gorilla though.
I don't. I feel like we should go with the strongman. I mean, like,
Strongman.
I think while he looks like a gorilla,
Uh-huh.
I think that if we keep on focusing on it, it can get to very weird racial places.
But his name is literally Gorilla.
I know. Let's not think about it.
His name is Gorilla. He gets chased by a tiger. Okay. Mustachioed strongman it is. We both get points that way.
Hell yeah.
So our Kong is Cyrus Simpson. Our Fish Bonin is the Penguin. Our Haretsu Kindio is Drew Carey. Our Casa is Tunnel of Love Witch. Our Scotch is Wayne. And our Gorilla is Mustachioed Strongman. All right. That gets it. That is 85 episodes of the show, Janine.
Wow.
It is, yeah, it is an amazing feat.
I can't imagine 3 digits of this show, and we are closer to it than we are to when we began.
Mm-hmm. That is what you get when you are signed on with me, Janine. I commit to the bit.
That's one thing that they can't say that you don't do. I mean, 85 episodes of it, of something that could have just like been like a joke podcast idea, like a tweet. Instead, it's a thing, and we're doing it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's still fun actually.
It is. I think we are going to have the interesting point where we are going to get to the big slowdowns and we may need to like consider how we want to further do the show. If it kind of gets to the point where it's like, oh, none of us are enjoying this anymore, or at least One Piece episodes become bad enough that it's like, okay, we may switch to one pace and then figure it out, but I don't think we're there yet. I've heard very good things about One Piece. I just don't know how much of the dub it has.
Well, we'll burn that bridge when we get to it.
Yes. For now, thank you for listening to this 85th episode of the show. Thank you, Andie, for joining us on editing this 85th episode of the show. In 2 weeks, we are going to be doing a SBS episode where we will answer your questions. I'm going to give Janine previews of the new looks for the One Piece crew, and we're going to be talking about what her expectations are for the future of the show. So, Janine, this is me telling you to come up with some predictions because I want to hear what you think is going to happen.
I'll get that done as my homework.
Hell yeah. And then 2 weeks after that, we're going to start season 2 of the show, I guess, technically, with a special guest episode, and things are going to be wild with One Piece. Set sail for One Piece. Janine, where can you be found online?
You can find me on Blue Sky, JanineJoliet.bisky.social. Also on Instagram, Janine is dope. I also have another podcast, Wrestle Girlies, that I do with Flighty Buttlass. That is anywhere that you get your podcasts. I don't know. I pick mine off of a tree. Luke, where can the people find you?
You can find me most places online as at Coltreg, that's KOLTREG, or at lukehair.com or coltreg.itch.io, or any of those other places where you can buy my things. You can also support me on Patreon, which is under my name, Luke Hair, LUKEHERR, where if you've got a few bucks or so to spend, that would help me as life is getting more expensive, but if not, I understand how that goes. Our episode this time was edited by Andie. You can find her on Blue Sky at wynf.co.uk. That's winf.co.uk. And then our cover art is by Mike Patten, who you can find most places as Patten Pending. That's PATTENPENDING. We will catch you in 2 more weeks for our SBS episode, and then 2 more weeks after that as we set sail for the new world. Janine, we're almost finally going to Fishman Island.
Finally, the goddamn firework factory.
The goddamn firework factory is underwater, Janine. You can't have fireworks under there.
Watch me.
Smooth sailing. Peace.